Welcome, friends. So, I'm part of a coloring group, and the theme this month is post-apocalyptic dystopian. So, I'm going to be taking Johanna Basford's new book, Inklings, and letting her meet the apocalypse. For my first piece, I just started by putting some holes into the buildings, breaking some of the windows, and took the corner off a few of these houses to make them demolished. I added some patchwork to the hot air balloon and broke some of the strings. And then I used my paint pen to go in and cover up some of the line work that I didn't need anymore. And then for all of my flowers and leaves, I'm just using some really muted colors that would be kind of gritty and grungy. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Really helps the channel grow. For my little robot, I decided to go with a gold bronze kind of look rather than silver, and wanted to change the line work of the face, like those super old school, like 50s styles computer programs where it was bright neon lettering. I segmented off all of these plant clusters and wanted to make it look like a display window. So I took my brown ink and darkened it in the center of each one of these little clusters so it would maybe look like some shadows inside of this aquarium. And then I had to go in and make some of these plants mutant plants because we are talking about the apocalypse. So on some of my mushrooms, I gave it these little spikes, kind of like what you would think of with a Venus flytrap. added a couple of extra plants to try to cover up some of the stars, and I made them look like man-eating plants, like the little mutant plant from Little Shop of Horrors. I taped off all the different segments and filled it in with this bronze paint and gave it these little circles to look like little metal rivets. Alright, so this was actually the first one that I did in this book. I stripped the trees of the foliage, added some holes in the house and in the windows, demolished the chimney, gave it this foggy pollution type of haze, and then I used a fluorescent paint to try to make it look like an oil spill. I don't know if I succeeded. I suppose it looks okay, but it was intended to look kind of like oil. For these fish, I have this stencil, this cogs stencil, and I just used some brown ink to make the stencil shape all over the page. And I want to try to make the fish look metal, so I drew them silver with a few white highlights to make it look like light reflecting off metal fish. And then I added some segments here, just some lines with 3 dots, and made these little circles look like rivets, metal rivets. And then I added a propeller on the fin of this one and a little pipe on the side. So this is my attempt at dieselpunk style. I just added some pipes coming out of the face with smoke coming out. And then I did the same thing on this other fish. Started with the cogs, and for this one, I focused on trying to make the curves more angular, so I got my ruler out to make some straight edges and turn these flowers into cogs. For the fins, I turned the fins into a series of pipes, smoke coming out of them. And there you have it. That is Johanna Basford meets post-apocalyptic dieselpunk.